Good morning and welcome to the first webinar for February from KA and CPE. Today is the CTE Pathways Part 1, Aligning High School Programs for Credit, College, and Career. We're so glad you're here. Today's focus is a K-12 focus, and this again is a Part 1. So we will be hosting a Part 2 later in February, focusing on transitions for college, for career. I am Susie Burkhardt. I'm sitting in today for Mitzi Holland. I'm a senior fellow at CPE, working with the Kentucky Advising Academy. So again, we're so glad you took some time to join us today. We've got some amazing guests today to present, talking about how to move students through high school to college career with purpose. So our first guest today that will be speaking is John Pace. John is an educational administration program consultant too with the Kentucky Department of Education's Office of Career and Technical Education. He leads statewide efforts to strengthen career and technical education pathways with a focus on supporting high school to post-secondary transitions and post-secondary readiness initiatives. John works closely with educators, school counselors, and administrators to implement strategies that promote meaningful career exploration, equitable access, and student success. He is the developer of the CTE Pathways Strengths Guidance Document, a resource designed to help schools align programs with student interests and workforce needs. Through his work, John champions innovative practices that prepare Kentucky students for lifelong learning and career achievement. We also have today a practitioner with us, Kirk Brooks. He's a high school principal at the Carroll County Area Technology Center. He's Megan's husband and a father to Shirley, Eleazar, Ariel, and Joshua, and he's a writer, a professor of education at Kentucky State University, a public speaker, a mechanic, and a shepherd. He is also a doctoral student at Morehead State University and an amateur wannabe surfer and skateboarder. He lives with his family on a small farm in northern Kentucky. And our final presenter today will be Sharon Collins. She is the Middle School Career Studies Program Consultant for the Kentucky Department of Education Office of Career and Technical Education. With more than 29 years of classroom experience and National Board certification in career and technical education, she brings a great expertise to adolescent development and middle school learning. A former family and consumer science teacher, she taught middle school career explorations, helping students discover their strengths, set goals, and envision future pathways. Sharon is a strong advocate for early career awareness and financial literacy. She collaborates with educators, administrators, and community partners across the state to develop engaging, standards-aligned programs that prepare students for success in high school, post-secondary opportunities, and beyond. So as you can see, we have some amazing, talented folks today to share some of their practice and some of their work with you to make your job with your students more impactful. So I really want to welcome John first. John, welcome today. You have been very busy in your work. You've been spending a lot of time developing the OCTE's CTE Pathway Strengths Guidance Document. I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about the document and how it can be used to support students in their career pathways.
Well, thank you very much, Susie, and good morning, everyone. And as Susie said, I'll be talking about career skills and post-secondary opportunities for Kentucky career and technical education pathways, and specifically how we can better align high school programs to support credit attainment, post-secondary planning, and career success all at the same time. So whether you're advising students, teaching CTE coursework, or making program decisions, my goal today is that you leave with a clear, usable resource and some concrete ways to strengthen career conversations with students. Next slide, please. So for those of you who don't know, February is CTE month. So first, happy CTE month to you all. And this makes it a perfect time to talk not just about what CTE programs exist, but how we talk about them with students and families. Now, one of the ongoing challenges we hear across the state is that students may know what a pathway is, but their struggle is to see how it connects to their strengths, their interests, and how it connects to post-secondary and career readiness. So today I want to do two things. I want to reframe how we think about the value of career and technication for all of our students and introduce a new resource developed by our office that's designed to springboard better career conversations and support more intentional exploration of Kentucky CTE pathways. Next slide, please. Now, when we talk about career and technical education, it's important to ground the conversation in what CTE offers students. Career and technical education programs promote post-secondary and career readiness. And CTE does this by building both academic and technical skills and intentionally develops durable skills like teamwork, communication, and problem solving. And these are skills employers constantly tell us they need. Research from ACTE consistently shows that students who concentrate in a CTE pathway, that is completing 2 or more related courses, graduate roughly at 96% versus students who do not participate in CTE who graduate at roughly an 85% rate. Now, CTE makes learning relevant, promoting engagement and motivation in a student's course of study. When students can see how math, literacy, and technical knowledge apply in real-world settings, school starts to feel connected to their future, not abstract or disconnected from it. Career and technical education allows students to explore careers without locking them into a single outcome. Exploration is not the same as limitation, and this is a key message for families. Career and technical education pathways are built with labor market alignment in mind. They help ensure students are gaining skills that match Kentucky's workforce needs. And finally, CTE offers pathways to further education. And CTE is not an alternative to college. It's often a bridge to a variety of post-secondary education opportunities. Next slide, please. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm a visual learner, and this is a helpful way to look at post-secondary education options through a CTE lens. CTE is not about choosing between college or career, but rather that career and technical education is about post-secondary and career readiness. I want to say that again. Career and technical education is about post-secondary and career readiness. It's about understanding how skills, credentials, and education stack together over time. After graduation, a student might move directly into the workforce, having earned an industry certification in their high school CTE pathway. They may choose to enter an apprenticeship or enroll in a technical or 2-year college program. They may choose military service, taking advantage of much of the educational opportunities while enlisted and educational options offered post-military enlistment. And of course, many of our pathways lead students to continue into a 4-year university program, such as engineering, business and marketing, education, and many others. When we look at post-secondary options, it's not about setting any post-secondary opportunity as the default, but rather looking at where the student wants to take their next steps and figuring out the most effective option to take them there. And career and technical education provides clarity for a student's future and momentum to encourage persistence and completion and entrance into their chosen field. And our role as educators is to help students see these pathways as connected, not competing. Next slide, please. And this brings us to the resource I want to highlight today. The Career Strengths Guidance document is a comprehensive listing of 122 of our 135 state-supported CTE pathways in Kentucky. For each pathway, it includes examples of more prominent career choices, the aptitudes often needed for success in that field, common work environments, and post-secondary opportunities available here in Kentucky. I want to emphasize this is not meant to be an exhaustive list of every job or outcome, but instead it's designed to help students and educators start from strengths and move towards informed exploration. Next slide, please. So let's take a moment and open the document and briefly walk through it. Now, while Heather is getting that set up, there should be a link to the document in the chat so you can follow along. And you can also find the link to this document on the main Department of Education CTE page. Now, one of the most effective ways to use this resource is alongside a student's ILP. So let's scroll down to the table of contents. And you'll notice that it lists the program area first and then pathways within that program area. And we have an active table of contents in here. So let's, Heather, scroll down to engineering. There you go, construction technology. And let's click on page 33 for structural engineering. And that should take you right there. Let's scroll up a little bit. So at the top of the page, scroll back up just a little bit so we can see the title. Thank you. It has the title of the pathway and its zip code. It has a description, the same description that you would find in the program of studies. And then in the 4 columns below you're going to see career choices in the first column. So a student pursuing this pathway might want to become a civil engineer, a project engineer, consulting engineer. This shows them some different, more prominent career options. In the second column, it describes aptitudes that are needed to succeed in this pathway, such as mathematical proficiency, analytical thinking, communication skills, etc. In the third column, it talks about common work environments. So if a student is really outdoorsy and doesn't want to be stuck in an office, they may want to reconsider whether they want to choose this pathway or not. But it talks a little bit about where you're going to be working. You're going to have some indoor, some outdoor, some office work, some site visits. It lists physical demands and other things that you'll notice in that column. And then finally, in the fourth column, there's listed post-secondary opportunities available in Kentucky. Now, Heather, if you'd scroll down to page 107, way down, it's the second to the last page. I've also provided all of our program consultants' contact information. So if you have deeper questions about a particular pathway, that is the current listing of all of our program consultants, and this document is updated on a monthly basis. I go through and make sure everything is updated, everything is current, and those are all of our current individuals overseeing those program areas. And if you scroll down one more page to page 108, we've also provided several additional resources such as career videos. We've provided a hyperlink to Futurity, a great website if you've not been on it yet. It's a one-stop shop for career exploration in Kentucky that'll take you a little deeper than this document does. It also has a lot of the same information. Dual credit opportunities, a link to KIA for dual credit scholarships, the Council on Post-Secondary Education, and Kentucky Commission on Proprietary Education. So several helpful resources in this document. So let's get back to our slide deck. And when a student has an idea about what they enjoy or what they're good at, this document helps translate that information into possible pathways, real work environments, and concrete post-secondary options. And it's not a decision-making tool as much as it's a conversation starter, and that's where its real power is. Now, this resource was intentionally designed for multiple audiences. For school counselors, it serves as a quick reference tool during advising conversations. For CTE and core content teachers, it provides insight into pathways beyond their own content area, which is helpful for cross-program awareness and career exploration lesson planning. For students, it supports early and low-pressure career exploration. For parents and families, it offers clarity at a time when options can feel very overwhelming. And for administrators, it can support informed decisions about pathway offerings and program alignment. In short, it's meant to create a shared language across many roles. Next slide, please. So wrapping up my portion of this webinar, when we talk about career and technical education, the real challenge isn't whether opportunities exist, it's whether students and families can clearly see how those options fit them. The Career Strengths Guidance document is designed to bridge that gap. It helps us start with the makeup of a student, what are their strengths, aptitudes, and interests, and connects those to CTE pathways and real work environments and post-secondary opportunities right here in Kentucky. And that matters because CTE isn't separate from post-secondary planning. It's a part of a comprehensive post-secondary strategy. Whether a student's next step, is a technical college, a 2-year program, military service, an apprenticeship, or a 4-year university, strong CTE pathways help students earn credit, build skills, and move forward with purpose. Most importantly, this document turns information into action. It supports clearer advising conversations, better program alignment, and more confident decision-making for students, families, and educators alike. When we get it right, we're not choosing paths for students. We're helping the students find the right path at the right time and giving them multiple ways to succeed beyond high school. Next slide, please. So I want to thank you for your attention and for the folks at KAA for allowing me this opportunity. If you have questions, or would like to follow up, my contact information is here on the screen. Please do not hesitate to reach out. I'm always available. And I also encourage you to explore this document and the other resources provided, share it with your colleagues, and think about how it can support the conversations you're already having. Thanks again, and happy CTE month.
Hey, John, before you sign off, we have a few more minutes in your segment. So I really would like to kind of get a little bit more of your expertise. If you were giving advice
Sure.
to counselors, let's say, I know what's amazing about this document is that it's not just counselor facing, it's student facing, parent facing, admin facing. I mean,
Hmm.
that's what we need as a document everyone can use. But
Yeah.
let's just say, for example, there's a counselor who might be new to CT pathways, or maybe they have a new CT pathway at their school. How
Hmm.
might you suggest that they implement or use your document?
Well, as I said earlier, one of the best ways to start is starting with the student's ILP, looking at what their ILP says about the student, about aptitudes, interests, and things like that, and then looking at some of those different pathways that can align with that. So they could look at different aptitudes within that second column as they're doing some planning, getting ready for their session, and have those things ready. And the other nice thing about this is if you're a school counselor, whether new or veteran, if you're like me, I know this much about engineering. I was family and consumer science, culinary arts, and hospitality. That's what I taught. But you want to talk to me about engineering? That's right over my head. But this gives me a good snapshot just to talk about. Well, you might want to consider some of these careers. These are some opportunities in Kentucky. And what's really nice is this. It serves as a springboard. It's not meant to be a comprehensive listing of everything, but it's a springboard that allows further conversations, further research on the student's part, and gives them some additional resources, like I said on page 108, to go do a deeper dive into what they're looking for. So that's the best way if I was
Yes.
counseling somebody to use it. And I've actually used it. I've actually had some kids at my church who we've already used this document with them, just
Great.
sitting down, just kind of
Little
informally
pilot
talking.
group.
I know, right? And it was just a very and this is also meant to be very informal. It's not heavy. We're not doing Myers Briggs or anything like that.
Right.
We're
Right.
we're taking a look at just some ideas, just kind of spitballing some ideas around, and that's really what it's for.
Yeah, it just having worked in career guidance with students, high school students, it really looks to like it can open some doors to thinking for kids.
Yeah.
We only know what we know, and so a document like this
Hmm.
opens some doors for kids. John, thanks so much for sharing this resource with our webinar
My
today
pleasure.
and everybody attending. I'm sure everyone will enjoy diving into it with themselves or with students or even with parents or sharing with others. We appreciate your expertise.
Well, I certainly appreciate being here, and thank you again, Susie, and thanks to everybody at KAA for having me.
Thank you. I want to welcome to the webinar Kirk Brooks. Kirk, again, I introduced him already, but Kirk is the principal at Carroll County Area Technology Center, and he's doing some amazing work there with students. And so, Kirk, can you tell us a little bit about Carroll County ATC? Just a little bit, some demographics, what you have there, and then we can get into some of your programming.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having me, John. That was excellent. It's going to be a little bit hard to follow you. I was scratching notes down, feel like I was drinking out of a fire hose, but also I don't have any slides, and your slideshow was intimidatingly good. But anyway, Carroll County ATC. Um, we're up in northern Kentucky. If you don't know where Carroll County is, it's kind of close to where the Speedway it used to be, Kentucky Speedway. Anyway, we got about 350 students um, from five different districts. Carroll County, obviously, Owen, Henry, Trimble, Carroll, and Gallatin County. Um, and all of our students are mostly juniors and seniors. We've got eight different pathways. Three of those are different healthcare pathways, and then there's welding, electricity, automotive, carpentry, and entrepreneurship. So that's kind of a brief
Yeah.
rundown.
So you've got a lot of great things going on up there. We've talked, and will you tell us a little bit about in our initial discussion? You talked a little bit about a group of individuals that you meet with. I think it was the 3CDC. I might have that
Yeah, no,
right or
you got it
wrong.
right. It's 3CDC, and I was really fortunate when I arrived at Carroll County. I've been at this school now for about 4 or 5 years, and Carroll County has done a really good job of uh, creating partnerships and connections, just like with everybody in the community. So I was invited to attend this 3CDC gathering. We meet monthly. 3CDC stands for something like Carroll County Community Development, that's the D, Consortium, I think. One of those C's maybe in the wrong place, but that's the gist of it. It's a group of people. We've got people there like every month. The mayor's there, people from Chamber of Commerce, chief of police, our post-secondary institution. We've got a little our KCTCS, our post-secondary person out here is JCTC. And it's a satellite school. So we're about an hour away from Louisville. JCTC, of course, is the Jefferson County branch of KCTCS. But we got some industry partners that meet with us there. So we are on the Ohio River here and have a few big players like a couple of steel plants like North American Stainless and Nucor. And then we've got Duck Utilities, the coal plant there. So all of these people get together and essentially are just talking, or checking in, but talking about how to have a healthy community. So my role there obviously is as a school principal, but also specifically as a school principal that's kind of funneling students to various careers and hopefully from the perspective of 3CDC, keeping them here in the community instead of to kind of help eliminate some of the brain drain that a lot of rural communities like mine often suffer from.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about your Future 42 mentor program and Future
Sure.
Care. Can you tell our participants today a little bit about that? It's very unique and successful in the way that you're collaborating with your community.
Yeah, that's been a really awesome thing. 42, the name comes from Highway 42, which runs up and down Ohio River, which is right here in our community. And then Future 42, our JCTC, our KCTCS school. I know if you guys are presumably from all over, you might have BCTC or all kinds of different KCTCS schools. But our little branch here started this Future 42 scholarship program, where some of our industry partners will give our kids jobs right out of high school and pay them while they're going to school to get an associate's degree in something relevant to the career that they're signed on for, and pay for their school as well. So that's been a really neat thing. As far as our school, what we've done at the high school level, we've created a few years ago a Future 42 mentorship program. So we reached out to all of our industry partners and just said, "Hey, can you guys come to our school and can we come to your place?" Obviously, we can do tours, but that's kind of the easy thing. But what has been really maybe exceptional and effective is that uh, almost all of our industry partners have put together teams of, say, 10 to 15 people. And a couple of times a year, all of them will come into our building and they'll meet with our kids that have signed up for this Future 42 mentorship program. So, um, initially when we start pitching the program to our new students as they come in, there's an application process. So we're not super strict about who can be in the program necessarily, but we do feel like they need to have some skin in the game. So they've got to fill out a little application. Why do you want to do this? What are your plans? And again, these are juniors and seniors. Well, they're juniors when they first begin the process. But so then we've got this cohort of kids, and when North American Stainless sends me 10 employees to spend the day at the school, um, each one of those employees is meeting with a group of like 10 students. And so you do that a couple of times a year, and the employees rotate through the different students and talk about their different roles in the plant or in the industry and what they do. And it really gives the kids an opportunity to make a personal connection with somebody that works there in the field that they're interested in working in, and ask questions in a setting that's small enough that you can ask those questions that maybe they're embarrassed to ask in a bigger setting, or just things they just don't know, like how much do you get paid? Are you exhausted? Do you have to work night shift? Any kind of weird question, what's lunch like? And that's been the kids just love it so much, and so we've made up t-shirts for them, and they really feel like they're a part of something special. And legitimately, of course the employers love it because they get to come in and make connections with kids that want to be working there someday and get a feel. Sometimes it's, hey, we definitely don't want that kid to work at our building, but hopefully, and most of the time, it's yes, we've got our eye on this kid. So when he turns in his application, when he turns 18, he's already got a foot in the door. And so we've tried to do all kinds of things to that effect, to just build relationship. To like John said, CTE is about post-secondary and career readiness, and so we're trying to keep from turning these kids loose into the world without a plan. Um, we all remember how hard it was. Most of us, of course, went into college for like a million years after we got out of high school, but when you're 18 and school just finished, it's tough sometimes to figure out what's next.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the Future Care program that was like a branch off of the Future 42?
For sure. Like I said, we've got three different health science pathways here, and so eight programs altogether. Three of the programs, so almost half our school is healthcare related. So after we launched this Future 42 program, that's really like industry focused, we felt like we needed to do something similar with the healthcare pathways, and so that's been a little bit more challenging, only because there's not as many healthcare options close to home for us, but it's still been very successful. We're in our second year of that, and it's essentially the same thing that I just described with the Future 42 program, except with healthcare pathways. So we've partnered with five different healthcare facilities. One of them, honestly, was just a local health department. Almost everybody's got one of those in their county. And then one of them, we're putting kids on a bus and driving them 45 minutes one way to a hospital. Um, but all the kids rotate through all five of those, and that's been a game changer for our healthcare program. A lot of you guys may have, well, a lot of ATC. I don't know how many ATC people I'm talking to, but a lot of you guys might have like CNA program, and one of the challenges that we've faced with our CNA program is that there's a lot of um, healthcare providers out there, even like nursing homes and things that are offering a CNA training course in as little, like I've got one down the road, a nursing home that's offering a CNA training course where they can become a CNA in like 3 weeks. And so we've had to work with them and work with our schedule because there's no sense in us teaching a CNA program that takes a full school year. Why, we were losing kids to that, right? Like, why would you come to the ATC for a CNA program that takes a year if I could get it in 3 weeks now? I would argue our program's better, et cetera, et cetera. But so we've made adjustments and we've worked with them. And and the kids have had the opportunity to go to an emergency room. Like I had a girl, they're riding on ambulances. They got to see a code, which of course they've got to fill out all the crazy parent forms and things for that kind of stuff. But it's just really like kind of ignited a new fire in all of our healthcare kiddos that they're really excited about it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exciting to see it. Just trying to close out your part of our webinar today. Every school doesn't have the same pathways, doesn't have the same resources, but we all have something. And so, what advice might you give those who might be interested in replicating something like the Future 42 mentorship program or Future Care in their district, just knowing that resources are different, pathways are different? What are some of the key elements you would suggest?
Um, a lot of the principals that I talk to, other vocational school principals, are in even more rural places than me, and they will sometimes say, "Well, I don't have all the same opportunities that you do," and that's 100% true. None of us have the same opportunities, but I think my advice would just be to build relationships and don't wait for, I'm when I got into this role, the 3CDC already existed. That's great and so fortunate for me. But if it hadn't existed or if it didn't exist, start it. Call the Chamber of Commerce, call up the mayor, call your industry partners, even if they're an hour away, like they want your employees too. Where are people in your community working? And reach out to those people. All of the industry people that I've ever reached out to and started relationships with have been totally excited about helping kids in schools. Like it's just like you're just a horrible person if you don't want to do that,
And
you know?
sometimes we
And so
forget how great our jobs
it
are because we get to work with
right.
kids because we do it
We do
every
it, yeah,
day. The people
absolutely.
that don't get to do that welcome it.
They are so excited about it. And really, guys, that has I mean, it's translated into literal like financial donations to our school from some of these big players. And so just developing those relationships, it might take some time. You know, you're not gonna knock it out of the park on the first meeting, but like just be consistent with it and reach out to them and make something happen and don't wait for somebody to make it happen for you.
Yeah, great advice. Kirk, thanks so much for joining us today. Your practitioner voice and your programming and excitement for what's going on for students at your school and really thinking about what comes after 13 years of public school. How are we preparing kids for that? And it's exciting to think that the students there at Carroll County ATC have a vision for their future when they leave, and they're excited about it. So
Yeah, they are. Thank you so
yeah,
much for having me. I've
yeah.
put my infos in the chat if you guys have any further questions, and you call or email me anytime.
Thanks again, Kirk. Have a great week.
Thanks.
Next, we have Sharon Collins. Again, I had introduced Sharon already, but she is the Middle School Career Studies Program Consultant for Kentucky Department of Education, Office of Career and Technical Education. And Sharon works, as I mentioned in her bio, works a lot with middle school students, both in her career and in her current work. And Sharon's going to talk to us a little bit about some of the ways to start some of this talking before kids enter high school. Sharon, welcome.
That's right. Thank you so much for having me today. And I absolutely loved hearing about the Future 42 program from Kirk. We are from so many different parts of the state, but building relationships within our communities, but also building those relationships across the state can be so important, and learning from each other. Is extremely important so that we can provide for our students. So, yes, career exploration in the middle school, I think, is so very important. So before those kids get to their high school, it's an opportunity for students to explore the many options that they have at the secondary level. So even having those high school students come down to the middle school and sharing, that would be a potential idea so that students can actually see what is going on at their high schools. We want those students to discover their interest. We want them to see what they like, what they love, but we also want them to discover what they dislike. And I feel like this helps to build better informed decisions. Um, it encourages them to reflect on what they do really enjoy, and what they don't enjoy. So, and I think that helps them in making better decisions when they get to the high school. Um, we don't want to lock them down into a specific career path at the middle school, but we are simply wanting them to explore the options that they have and unlock the potential that they possibly have. So, as Kirk mentioned, establishing relationships with the Chamber of Commerce, even at the middle school level, holding events for students to see the opportunities within their own communities is excellent. And I know some communities may not have a Chamber of Commerce per se, but typically they all have a mayor, they have city councils. So building relationships with them is extremely important, and contacting the various industry within the community and even a little beyond your own community so that these middle school students can see what the possibilities are out there for them. Um, I always encourage middle schools to work with their communities so that they can establish various activities, career simulations. They love that hands-on approaches. So I know an event that we would have the local hospital, the local healthcare group to come in, and students could actually do a little mock surgery on mannequins or We would have welding simulations for our students. So that's always great when there can be hands-on activities for those students.
Yes. I know you've been working on some resources. Can you tell us about some of the resources available and work that's currently underway to increase awareness and access of park
Yes.
exploration for middle school students?
And this is on, part of my information is on a slide. I'm not sure if that's being shared, but yes, we have just unveiled the brand new standards for, and we can go ahead and go to the next slide. This is what the middle school career resources pages looks like when you go to the Kentucky Department of Education. But as I was saying, we have just unveiled the new standards for career studies and financial literacy. Those are available on the web, and we will be in future meetings, we will be holding sessions that go over those new standards. And then, of course, so there's many resources already here, but then we are also establishing a set of lesson plans to go along with the um, standards. I'm also working with the Council on Post-Secondary Education because they are also establishing and developing those plans. So it's going to be a huge help to our teachers and even our students to be able to see what is available for them. I hope to, of course, we have our Career and Technical Education Conference in July. So that's where a lot of these resources will be unveiled. And I also want to mention Futurity. That's an excellent resource I'm sure many have heard about, but I feel like we are finally establishing the the items that our teachers need to help to best support them.
Yes, yes. Great. Thank you so much, Sharon. We appreciate that middle school lens. When students arrive at high school, it's great to think that they'd have a little bit of background and some thinking.
Yes.
Again, not locking down into a specific career, but just some thinking about themselves and what they enjoy. And so we appreciate your work in that area and sharing it with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you
Thanks
having
for
me
being
here.
All right, so we are coming to the end of our webinar. As typical, I want to just remind you, February 24th is part 2 for the CTE Pathways. Part 2 is going to feature Dr. Ashley Crow and Charmy Davis from Owensboro CTC, and they're going to share a START Center and Pathfinder area that they're having personalized advising and career exploration. So I know you all want to come back for that and see what's going on there and catch up some ideas. I do want to highlight in the future, in May 12th, because this relates to something Sharon shared, we are going to be celebrating the school year, but also we're going to be sharing our new advising scope and sequence from the Kentucky Advising Academy. I've been doing some work on this with Mitzi Holland, and basically it's taking the work from Kentucky Advising Academy and providing lesson plans for teachers to use in career explorations, post-secondary opportunities, financial aid and literacy, and essential skills. And so there will be a lesson plan, grades 6 through 12, one lesson plan in each pillar. We are excited to roll that out. We've been working hard on it. And like Sharon said, it's kind of cool because it starts in middle school and then ramps up. And so districts that are interested in this resource definitely want to tune in May 12th. We are also working with many of our cooperatives, and we're going to be heading out and sharing with our guidance counselors as our kind of first line. But we're excited about that new advising scope and sequence that's coming. We do have an evaluation, I think is on the next slide, Heather. Well, we do have some contacts there as well. Mitzi and Robin are always willing. If you have questions or need information, feel free to reach out to them. Again, my name is Susie Burkhart. You can reach out to me as well at ky.gov. And then we have our evaluation. The evaluation is linked to the ELA credit, I believe. So the next slide has a QR code. If Heather can take us there, yeah. So if you want to go ahead and scan that, give us some feedback. We'd love to hear from you today. And they'll be sending out your ELA credit after the evaluation. We really appreciate you guys taking time to be here. We know, especially our practitioners, that your day is very full and you have a lot of hearts and minds that you're taking care of. So we appreciate you taking a little bit of time to grow yourself and to collaborate virtually with colleagues. And we really want to thank John Pace, Sharon Collins, and Kirk Brooks for taking time to be with us today as well. They were very inspirational and are all working on some really important things to help you guys to do your work. And I know I'm going to be looking at some of those documents later today. Thank you for being here.